this move was years too late. About 3 years too late. This move should have been happened. But obviously we weren't dealing with the current front office that we have now. I mean, better late than never, as they say. As, you know, originally we thought we were about to run it back with KP, Kuz, and Brad. And just be mid forever. But it's over. Realistically, Bradley Beal was the final deciding factor in what deal was going to get accepted. Even if the Wizards liked the Miami Heat deal more, and Bradley Beal said, I don't want to go to Miami, the Wizards would not be able to trade him to Miami, even if they had a better deal. If he said, I want to go to Phoenix, I don't want to go to Miami, the Wizards were going to have to send him to Phoenix. That's just the reality of the situation. No matter if Miami had a better package or not. If Bradley Beal wanted to go to Phoenix and didn't want to go to Miami, he was going to go to Phoenix, which he ultimately did. So, I mean, as far as the return, it's disappointing, like I said, but realistically, how much more were the Wizards going to get? You know, the no trade clause was going to have a super effect on it. We knew that when it happened. That's why everybody was confused as to why they gave it to him in the first place. No matter how Ted and Tommy tried to spin it, we all knew what it was. We all knew it was going to kill any leverage the Wizards had. Because we all knew it was going to happen, when Bradley Beal inevitably was going to be moved on. We knew it would kill any leverage the Wizards had, which it did. So the return isn't what the Wizards fans, you know, were really looking for. But realistically, it is what it is in that department. I don't have an issue with Wenger, Dawkins, etc. I mean, look at the situation that they were in. We knew what they were taking in was a pile of trash. We all knew that. They're taking in a pile of trash and trying to clean it up and turn it into fine china. That's going to take some time. At the end of the day, the Wizards weren't going to get that much for Bradley Beal because he had all the leverage. It could have been 50,000 better trade packages out there that the Wizards could have accepted. But if Bradley Beal did not want to go there, they could not accept that trade. They would send Bradley Beal where he wanted to go because he was the holder of the only no trade clause in the NBA. And that's just the last nail in the coffin in this Bradley Beal era, which was terrible. The Bradley Beal era was a terrible era that should have never happened. You want to know why it should have never happened? Because they should have traded Bradley Beal after the 2019 season. When John got hurt, he was averaging about 30. They should have got him out of there then. But they didn't want to do that. They was in denial. Now, years later, they killed any kind of trade value by giving him a no trade clause. So they killed their best asset. They killed his trade value by giving him the no trade clause. So it is what it is. You know, things are still going. Things are still happening. The deal is still fluid. Not everything is out yet. So everything right now is very initial. But, I mean, at the end of the day, man, we all knew this was happening. We knew this day would come. We knew Bradley Beal would get traded. It just so happened it came a year after he signed his extension. And it also shows you how bad the Wizards were ran. I don't have any bad feelings towards Brad, you know, because Bradley Beal was positioned in a position that he shouldn't have never have been in. That's the thing. See, I don't have an issue with Bradley Beal because it's not Bradley Beal's fault. Was it Bradley Beal's fault or the front office fault that they gave him a massive contract with a no trade clause? Whose fault was that? Bradley Beal or Ted and Tommy? Whose fault was that? Who's not taking that deal? All right then. That's not Brad's fault. Whose fault is it that they made Bradley Beal the number one guy when he's not a number one? Is that Bradley Beal's fault or is that Ted and Tommy's fault? Whose fault is that? That's not Bradley Beal's fault. That's the front office's fault. I don't have any hard feelings towards Bradley Beal because he didn't do anything wrong. He's just going along with the plan. The front office allowed for it to get this bad. It's the front office's fault. I don't have any issues or ill will towards Brad. He was just hooping. My issues were always with the front office. They are the one who put the Wizards in this current position. They're the ones who put Bradley Beal in that position of power over the franchise. It's their fault. It's Tommy Shepard's fault. It's Ted Leonsis' fault. It's whoever else crew was in that front office's fault. It's all their fault. This is on them. This is not on Brad. Brad's just doing what's best for him and his family and business. Because that's what it is. It's a business. In the Wizards front office, Ted and company were delusional. They were delusional. At the end of the day. They were delusional. I mean, and he dogged the Wizards on the business front. Brad and his agent have continued to dog the Wizards, and they dog the Wizards today. Not only did Bradley Beal get to be the number one guy of a franchise for however long, not only did Bradley Beal collect a lump sum of money, not only did Bradley Beal collect the only no-trade clause in the current basketball landscape, he got to the team that he wanted to go to. That's a win. He was crushing the Wizards on the business side of things. Bradley Beal is not as bad of a player as people. I see some crazy takes on Bradley Beal from people who don't watch the Wizards at all. It's crazy how a lot of people who have never really watched any Wizards games have so many opinions and thoughts on Bradley Beal when they've never really watched the team. Right? Oh, he may not. Is he really better than Tyler Hero? Is he? Yes, Bradley Beal is a very talented basketball player. He's very good. He was just in a bad position. Like, let's not get it twisted. Bradley Beal had no business being the number one guy on any team, especially the Washington Wizards, because he's not a number one. But that does not mean Bradley Beal is not a terrific player. It cannot boost and move the needle for a team like the Phoenix Suns who already have number one and number two talent. Period. Bradley Beal can be a needle mover on the right team. The Phoenix Suns are the right team. The Wizards are not. He's not a needle mover for a team like the Washington Wizards. For a team like the Phoenix Suns currently, yes, he could be a needle mover. It's all about position. And it's all about where are you at? What does your team look like? What position are you in on that team? All the Bradley Beal slander is kind of crazy. Yeah, he struggled. He ain't averaging 30 no more. And I feel like a big part of Bradley Beal not averaging 30 is because he felt like he didn't have to. See, this is when you don't watch the Wizards and you just look at the numbers, you're just going to be like, oh, he's averaging less points, less. Yes, the injuries were a thing. But if you watch the Wizards, you would know that Bradley Beal, and he said it, he didn't feel like he needed to score 30 points anymore. Could Bradley Beal average 30 points per game on the Washington Wizards if he wanted to the last couple seasons? Absolutely. Bradley Beal could have absolutely averaged 30 points a game and been a 30-point per game scorer if he wanted to. When he was averaging 30 points per game, who was he playing with? Let's look. Isaiah Thomas, Jerome Robinson, Isak Bonga, Mo Wagner, Thomas Bryant, Garrison Matthews. Who was he playing with? Who in the world was he playing with? Exactly. Bradley Beal needed to score. He needed to score. And then when they got guys like Russell Westbrook, Kristaps Porzingis, Kyle Kuzma, I'll throw in Spencer Dinwiddie, KCP, he didn't feel like he needed to do as much scoring-wise as he did when he was on them early 2019 teams. So he took less of an offensive load and tried to do a little bit more playmaking, etc. When he was in his best spot, being a 2-guard and not trying to facilitate when he was next to Russell Westbrook, dude was dropping like 50-something. He was dropping 50, 53 points. If Bradley Beal wants, he can average 30. But if you're just going off the stats and you don't look at the Wizards, which most people don't do, you'll just look at the numbers and be like, oh, he's decreased in scoring, blah, blah, blah. That's because he wanted to. He didn't feel like he needed to do that. I mean, that's that at the end of the day.